And welcome to another exciting episode of the Click Nation's Comic Book Chronicles. I am your host, Tim Deal Double G. And I'm joined by the man behind the sound effects, at Agent_70 on Twitter.
What's up, everybody?
And we also have at RowdyCat on Twitter.
Oh, hey everybody. How you doing?
Reading your copy of the Daily Bugle.
Yep, like always.
And not with us tonight, but he's taking his family on a nice little vacation for the spring, early summer, is at PCN_Dirt on Twitter.
Good job, Dirt.
Have fun storming the castle.
Make sure to go to his website, popculturenetwork.com. And while you're going to websites, make sure to check us out at www.theclicknation.com. Follow us on Twitter at TheClickNation and at CBCron. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/TheClickNation. And when you're on TheClickNation.com, you can also find buttons to follow us on all the other different social media websites we're on. Make sure to subscribe to our newsletter. We are a part of the Cold Letter Podcast Network. You can find them and us and all their podcasts on their website, cspn.us. Buy our merchandise from our Redbubble site, redbubble.com/people/CSPN/shop.
I forgot how long that is.
Yeah. We record live every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you're ever discussing comics on social media, make sure to use the hashtags CBCron or Comic Book Chronicles so that we can see it. And make sure to share your posts on the show live.
Absolutely.
All right, so another big week in comics. We've got Marvel kicking off their summer blockbuster event, Civil War II. And we also had the DC Rebirth one-shot starting this week with 4 comics: Batman, Superman, Green Arrow, and Green Lanterns. I always forget to put the S at the end.
Absolutely.
I think we should definitely start with the big one from Marvel, Civil War II.
Yeah, before we start on that, Civil War II had not 1, but 2 hip-hop covers this week. I'm going to hold them up. One is the the tribute to ultramagnetic MCs, and the other is to Onyx with an album that we cannot really talk about. We can't really name. Actually, we can. Back the fuck up.
Hold yours up, Roddy. Get yours on camera there.
Here he goes.
I need to maybe go by Second and Charles and see if they had them. I don't know if I will pay $6 for hip hop cover.
For 2 of them.
Look, considering what I just paid, you be coming out of it easy.
You underwater, Roddy?
Oh no!
Wait. Keep talking.
What's that? Back?
Okay. You're fine.
Okay. Weird.
It's like you're going in and out. We'll let you
Really?
know if you go back under.
Mm.
All right. So, I guess we can start by saying that the events of this issue definitely wrap into the events of the Free Comic Book Day story.
Definitely. We get fallout from that finally. So the lingering questions on the status of War Machine and She-Hulk are answered here.
Right. Without any real spoilers.
The issue kicks off with, if I'm trying to remember chronologically what took place first. I know we saw, that's right, we're introduced to Ulysses, the new Inhuman. I guess he's just discovering his powers, and he's found by the Inhumans.
Right.
and we find out that it says like weeks earlier, and then I think we hit the present where the all new, all different Avengers are battling a Celestial who just said, "Hey, I feel like popping up into this dimension and wrecking some havoc." So luckily, the all new Avengers call for some backup from just about every single hero in the Marvel Universe, and they're able to defeat the Celestial and send him off into another dimension thanks to combined forces of all the different superhero teams and the magicians. And then my favorite part is when they go to celebrate at Stark Tower, which I thought he didn't have anymore after reading all new, all different Avengers, but eh.
There's a
In fact,
couple of,
that's when he sold it, as I think as you were told, as I remember. So
I was just gonna say there's a couple of kind of weirdish continuity items in this issue that kind of made me that took me a little bit out of the story. It's funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's back in the day, I'd get more bent out of shape over this, continuity stuff. But I've just kind of learned it's easier for them just to tell their story without trying to worry so much about when this takes place and does this conflict with that. Like
Right.
you had the magic users using magic, and
That you hit you. Thank you for bringing that up. Spoiler alert.
the last days of magic's taking place in Doctor Strange.
Exactly. It is going on right now, and all of these magic users that are portrayed as wielding mighty amounts of magic are all almost powerless in
it
the
got better.
ongoing. Yeah, exactly. They got better real quick. So obviously, we're going to find out when, at some point, someone will retroactively place this event into continuity, hence retcon, right? But someone will eventually place this into the greater Marvel continuity scheme, and fit the Last Days of Magic in as well. But yeah, that you definitely hit on one of the jarring sequences for me, because it made me stop and think, hey, why is this happening now? How can this be happening now? But like you said, we're at a point where we're so used to it. We're more looking, we're looking closer at the story as opposed to how it fits into continuity.
Right, and it could be that, hey, this happened before all that went down or something. Like you said, I'm sure there will be some kind of explanation, or they won't. They just said, look, here it is, run with it.
Yep.
I like that. It was just kind of ironic that I had just read the last week's issue of Doctor Strange, I think like a couple hours before reading this, so that it sort of stuck out in my mind. Watching Doctor Strange and the rest of the magicians struggle to find all these magical artifacts, and then to see them displaying their powers with no trouble.
Right.
But
Like all at full power,
and then at the party, while I did enjoy the party, and it reminded me of the scene from Avengers: Age of Ultron, everyone celebrating the victory. I did notice that you had the Inhumans and mutants or X-Men there at the same time, and they're supposed to be in conflict with one another because of the whole Terrigen mist affecting mutants. But I guess they put their differences aside for the time being. Celebrate good times. Come on.
Oh no! Tim Dog 98 breaking out the cooling again.
And I also love the sort of the Easter egg. I don't even know if they're considered Easter eggs, just the funny little things added in the background by Dave Marquez. Like when Tony's doing the toast, you can see, I think it was Thor and She-Hulk arm wrestling. It was Thor and somebody arm wrestling in the background on a table.
Okay, now I'm looking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Is it She-Hulk?
Right. It is She-Hulk.
Okay. So that was just kind of funny.
It is She-Hulk. That is cool.
Yeah, Brian Bendis was definitely displaying his comedic chops during the dialogue between characters at the party, like bringing up how Damian Hellstrom, I guess, flirts with everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and him flirting with Wanda and doing the "No More Hellstrom."
Yeah, that was pretty good. I give Marquez a lot of credit. He had a lot of cool shots in this book. It's nice to see him, really flex his muscles on on a team book, because we had seen him primarily on Miles Morales Spider-Man, but to see him on a book where he's able to draw, and obviously this is a chore for most artists. For him to be able to draw all these characters and give them fairly unique looks. It's a big straw in his cap, the
I'm a,
flower in his cap.
if I do decide to buy the individual issues, it'll just be for Marquez's art because it's definitely nice. And it actually reminded me I need to go and next time I go to my comic shop, put an order in for the first volume of Invincible Iron Man.
Hmm.
I needs it.
That's good. That's good. All right.
You've been
So
catching up
Roddy,
on that. It's been halfway decent.
yeah, I was about to say. So Roddy Cat didn't read this, so he's not going to have much to contribute. Hopefully, we didn't spoil too much. You do still have to read this because you have to see how the Free Comic Book Day Zero issue kind of ties into this.
Yeah. Well, if because I did read that, so if that ends up being similar to what I'm believing it is, I'm prepared to be upset. But yeah, I'll read it.
So to finish things off, everyone's wondering how did the heroes know that the Celestial was going to show up there. The Inhumans revealed that they went to the Avengers to let them know that Ulysses saw the event, and then it devolves into like a discussion on how Ulysses' powers work, and does he actually see visions of the future, or does he experience things that he believes are going to take place?
Right. And Roddy, I know, you've been, as a host of this show, you obviously know a lot of the general details of the story. There's very much a Minority Report vibe to this. So, we're not spoiling anything by saying that, because you already knew that coming in.
Sure.
So you definitely see and kind of experience the debate between the heroes, kind of rehashing what the discussion was from way back in the day when Minority Report came out and Tom Cruise was still a bankable movie star. Oh no!
Right. Yeah, I kind of saw some of that when I was reading the issue also. So yeah, I caught all of that.
I kind of miss. I wish I had the shots fired sound effect that Eclectic has. Shout out to Eclectic when I said that. Anyway.
So let's see. So there's a disagreement takes place. Then we jump ahead a couple weeks to the Civil War Free Comic Day issue. Fallout from that, and we're left with a lot of questions leading into issue 2.
Yeah.
Somebody gets Bill Foster, then I'm gonna be really upset.
Yeah, someone's already got.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly. We'll see how that goes. Moving forward.
Yep. All right. So that's Civil War number 2. I'm assuming you enjoyed it, Agent 70.
It was good. Listen, it was good. I wouldn't say it was anything completely, extraordinary, because, like I said, it felt very familiar because of the shades of Minority Report that were in it. But I thought that the character work was pretty good. As I said earlier, the couple of continuity bits that kind of jarred me out of the story just for a few moments, kind of ruined some of the experience for me. But all in all, I think it's a good start to the event. What I don't like is the aspect of the Bill Fostering of characters in this book, and the potential that it has for, just just a sad. I don't even know how to express myself when it comes to the Bill Fostering of these characters, because they are they are kind of gotten or done in somewhat for shock value. And if you think about it, one is obviously much more likely to be on the goner list than She-Hulk, because spoiler alert, only because it was so unlikely that whatever it was that hit her actually did this much damage. You have to go back to the Civil War #0 to take a look at that.
Well, one thing we do know is there's going to be at least one other death in this series, so get your popcorn ready.
Oh no. Okay. All right,
Oh,
moving
well, I was
on.
about to say,
Oh, what's up?
speaking of shades of, how does the shades of the original series seem to be? Like, you think it's kind of playing by the same numbers? I mean, outside of the Bill Fostering, the potential Bill Fostering.
They've said that it's totally different from the only similarity is heroes disagreeing and find each other.
Hmm.
So I don't think there's going to be like this big oh my god moment of someone switching sides or choosing a side like there was with Spider-Man. I think if anything, they're going to try to go a different route with Civil War 2.
And we shall see then.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. We're still on Marvel. We want to go through some more Marvel books.
Sure.
Sure.
You want to touch the ending of the Spider Women crossover, Roddy? Did you have a chance to read that?
Yeah, we'll do that.
So this is the Omega issue of the 8-part crossover
Yes.
between the Spider Women book, Spider Woman, Spider Gwen, and Silk. This is the culmination. This is the 8th story in the sequence, and what we have is Silk, or at least Cindy Moon of Earth 65. This is Spider Gwen's Earth, finding out that she's been double crossed by a certain relative or a certain male counterpart of Spider Woman. I'll leave it at that. I would like people to read this without spoiling too much. But the double cross leads to the final confrontation between the heroes and the evil Cindy Moon. There's a lot of cool bits in here. There are a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of great 90s jokes in here that made me stop and laugh out loud. Honestly, that was some of the best stuff that I've read in a while. Kudos to Dennis Hopeless on this, because that honestly made me laugh. I always joke about it, crowded train, reading it on my tablet, and I just can't stop laughing because, which one? There was a reference to, whoops, there it is. I'll leave it at that. That one got me real bad. That one got me so bad. I started laughing out loud. So, like I said, without spoiling too much, we do have there is some finality to the story. There is kind of a cool bit of revenge had upon the evil Cindy Moon, and the heroes are sort of back, but we do have a complication with Spider Gwen that I don't know if you want to go into, Roddy.
Well, yeah, I guess we will see. We'll possibly potentially see more of it when her book her next issue comes out. But
Right.
Yeah, we are still seeing her. She was at the beginning of this. She was without her powers, and she, because of Jessica's counterpart, gave
Right.
her the thing that gave him his powers that she ended up using in the end of this issue.
Right. And it's
But-
I was about to say it's implied that the effects are temporary.
Exactly. So, but I suspect, I don't know. I mean, I guess that would be something that will, be an arc upon itself. But I have a feeling that even if it is temporary, I got a feeling she's probably not going to lose her powers.
Right.
I mean,
She won't be
just-
powerless for long.
Right. Like, it could be one of those things was like, she'll have this until it finishes out, and then, oh, wait, I don't have my powers anymore. Then suddenly they kick back in for some reason. I know
Right.
that's just what it seems like. We don't know.
Right.
But that'll be an interesting thing to go forward with. But I thought this issue was quite satisfactory ending to it. The 90s references were pretty cool. The thing at the end where they're like, yeah, Cindy did something for her counterpart. They sent her a care package.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't make her none too pleased, and at the end they were like, yeah, that's probably gonna come back and bite us in the ass, which I kind of hoping it does. 'Cause I would really like to see these three team up again.
Sure. You know what's funny is that as much as we all know that of the three books, the Silk book is the one that would be struggling the most in sales. I like the fact that they've done their best to connect the three and kind of use them to prop each other up. And I really like that there's some continuity here, using the big bad continuity word. That I like the fact that there is some interconnectivity in between these books. It makes total sense. I wanted to point out there is a panel. If you are on the YouTube stream, Roddy is having some technical difficulties. He's going to be off in a second. He's going to be back on hopefully in a minute. But I'm holding up a panel. Tim, I don't know if you read Spawn in the 90s. You might be a little bit. It might be a little bit before your time.
I mean, I read the first couple issues of Spawn when it started.
So Roddy's back, and he's seeing what I'm holding up. And doesn't this remind you of a Spawn cover, Roddy?
Yeah, kind of. I was going to mention that because I was like, that is a figure I actually want to see being made.
Yeah. So,
Yes,
so I thought that was a nice little call, like a '90s callback, also by the artist on this. This is Nico Leon, and Nico does an excellent job in this book. There's lots and lots of cool action sequences and references. Again, it's so much fun. Did you have much to? Do you have some more stuff to add, Roddy?
No, that was pretty much it.
Cool. It's definitely this is a sleeper candidate for Click of the Week for me, because this was a lot of fun.
All right. I'm gonna jump to Amazing Spider-Man number 13.
Okay, tell us about it.
So this is continuing the Regent character from Secret Wars, Renew Your Vows, appearing in the Marvel Universe. And he's opened up a new superhero prison called the Cellar, I believe it is, and he's actually sort of making his appearance known in the world, and he's helping to catch criminals as Regent, but as its alter ego, he's funding the prison and whatnot. And as you see on the cover, it's Amazing Spider-Man versus the Invincible Iron Man, and that's because Peter runs out to do some mentoring of Miles Morales, the young Spider-Man, and when he shows up, he finds Iron Man with Miles at like a baseball park, and they're like playing at the batting cage. And the way Miles explains it is, they were doing they had an Avengers meeting before he went to meet with Peter, and Iron Man, not knowing that Peter and Spider-Man are the same person, it starts bad-mouthing Peter, saying how, he upgraded Miles' web shooters because the tech wasn't all that great, and, if, Peter's in the big leagues now, running Parker Industries, and, he's in over his head, and if Spider-Man ever wants to, change teams and go work at Stark, he's got him. He can even upgrade his web shooters if need be, which sets Peter off, and Peter punches Iron Man, and they get into a fight with
a very silly fight.
Yeah, very, very silly fight. And the crowd's all like watching, and some of them are surprised, and others are like, superheroes fight all the time. I had to check the cover for a minute because I almost thought this would be like a Vote the Civil War tie-in, just because it was two heroes fighting each other over some nonsense. But it wasn't.
No, it was really nonsense. Like, it's not even like a philosophical debate about whether or not you can punish someone for a crime that they have not yet committed. But I have to tell you one thing that drew me into this book. This is a beautiful Alex Ross cover. This is
As
some
you can
good stuff.
see on the cover there, and there's Age 70 holding his copy up.
Yep.
Yep.
It is beautiful, beautiful stuff.
I liked having Miles's dialogue of him just being so embarrassed and asking them to
Yeah.
please stop fighting and okay, I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah, but that was a mistake, obviously, because he needed to stay by the more powerful heroes.
Yeah, kid goes off by himself, of course, gets into trouble.
That's right. That's right.
So that's about it for the issue. It was a dumb fight that's gonna help progress the story along.
Right,
And
and we definitely have movement on the story front that involves Regent and developing his alter ego and kind of what his grand scheme is. So we do have some movement on that. It seems like this is progressing not quickly, but it's definitely progressing along.
right. All right. Anyone else read All New, All Different Avengers number 10?
Yes.
I did.
I almost forgot about this issue, but yes, I did read it. So far, I'm enjoying this new Avengers team's first trip into space together. For some Avengers, aka Miss Marvel and Spider-Man Miles Morales, it's their first time in space. And they're off to find Nova's dad, which I thought you'd think this story would take place in the Nova book, but
Exactly.
Mark Waid can cherry pick what stories he wants over Sean Ryan or whoever the Nova writer is.
I was going to say,
Although,
is this a crossover?
well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it might start over here. They're probably not going to find his dad, and then it will actually take up in his book, in Nova's book. Like this is just kind of a red herring, I guess, to that.
It's possible. And Roddy's got the image up there.
Good job, Roddy.
Coming through in the clutch.
That's right.
So yes, another Alex Ross beautiful cover.
Yeah, no, this is a good one. He's coming through.
So the Avengers find a bootleg ship to take them into space.
A slightly familiar one, actually, because I think they've done a similar, or there has been a one similar for that. And since they got it from Reed Richards, I guess that would kind of make sense. But
so they're running. It runs off the power of Mjolnir.
Oh no! Shout out to Kat Dennings.
And they get to a planet. Their ship gets shot down, and what they find is like there's a tower that's been shooting down spaceships. So there's been a bunch of refugees on the planet as their ships have been shot down, and then on a schedule, this green mist comes out to devour people. The Avengers help to save some people, and then they realize that there's some force on the other side. So they sacrifice themselves to go see what's on the other side of this mist. And I guess what it is a villain from cosmic past, so to speak.
Yes, let's say that. Which is why I'm thinking, like, well, this is, and I could be very well wrong, which I'm fine with, but it was like, it just seems, especially that, because that seems to come out of nowhere. Meaning that villain, I was like, and could normally you would not see him in. Well, I guess he has shown up in Avengers once or twice in history. So.
Well, I was about to say, to a certain extent, they're reintroducing some of the villains that haven't seen any shine since 2 crossovers ago.
And I suspect because the thing that was powering that tower, as Iron Man said, seemed rather familiar, and it does. So I imagine someone else is going to get reintroduced, or a version of someone else is probably going to eventually get reintroduced.
Right. I noticed that too. But yeah, it was, without spoiling who appears on the cliffhanger last page, it is a character that I don't believe we've seen since Infinity. But I'm not sure. It could have been earlier than that, actually.
That sounds about right, yeah.
But it's someone who has not really had he has not played a prominent role in any of the mainstream Marvel books for a while, so I
Actually, it
wasn't
might have been
surprised to see
in
him.
yeah, actually, it might have been in a fairly recent Guardians book, just kind of popped up. But
Oh, true, true,
I think
true. That
so.
it's been a while since I've really, really paid attention to Guardians. So
Right. But as far as being, hey, a figure that had some, had something to do, yeah.
right, okay, all right, cool.
Which, and by the way, doesn't seem to have, which seems weird that it has nothing to do with Civil War yet. But I guess, there is a reason for that.
hmm Okay, let's see.
And the last Marvel book I read would be Contest of Champions #9, which ties into Civil War in a way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mostly it's Civil War, the original Civil War from an alternate timeline, alternate universe, as of course and it ties into Battle World, uh, Maestro running Battle World and collecting heroes and villains from all different realities and bringing them together to entertain himself using the power of the ISO 9, ISO 8.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I did not realize this next issue is the final issue. I read that last night and I was like, what?
that's a shame.
Yeah, it is. This book's actually doing pretty good.
I wonder what the sales have been on it. I haven't actually kept up with like sales figures for a while now, so I've been meaning to go back and start looking at stuff. I guess like all new, all different Marvels would be a good starting point to see how stuff's been doing. But I wonder if it's just like one of those where it's always planned to be 10 issues and then move on to something else. But
Maybe.
let's see. So we see the President Tony Stark and his Mighty Avengers team as it's a parade as they're, I guess, about to reveal new recruits being called up from Camp Hammond to join, I guess, whatever 50-state initiative. So as you see on the cover, it's Iron Patriot, Tony Stark, the President of the World, Penance, aka Robbie Baldwin, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, Thunderstrike, the Thor clone, and Iron Spider, aka Natasha Romanoff.
No kidding.
So here's one I wanted to ask because I didn't read it. The Secret War Civil War mini was that? Or is that where these characters?
Nope.
Because it seemed like where I figured he had pulled them, but then I'm like, well, if he had pulled them from there, he was just basically pulling them off of Battle World, which is he was on.
It looked like our contestants who are on Battle World already were walking through the divide or whatever the landscape that the
Right.
Civil War miniseries, the Civil War Secret Wars miniseries took place at. But these guys just got pulled from just some random universe.
Gotcha.
So anyway, they get pulled from the parade to Battle World, and when that happens, we see the losing side of the Civil War, which was Captain America's side. As he says, he's not Cap anymore since he's a prisoner of war, and is being used to lead the Thunderbolts, which is like basically their version of Suicide Squad, where they're sent on suicide missions. So it's Cap, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Punisher, Bill Foster, who doesn't speak but is at least seen, and
Yeah.
Susan Storm. And then, so basically, this Mighty Avengers team is dropped into the Battle World to fight Sentry and whoever the Aussie Punisher guy or whatever country he's from.
Black Punisher from London, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
Black Punisher,
got what he called him.
Guillotine, Elektra. I think I've got everyone. So anyway, they get dropped in to fight them, and then the Thunderbolts show up also at the end.
Oh, White Fox and
Yeah, White Fox.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, so the tease for the final issue is the Mighty Avengers versus Thunderbolts versus Maestro versus our captives on Battle World Free For All.
Okay.
It's gonna be a slobber knocker.
Oh, and I just now noticed they had the old Civil War dress on here.
And that's what thing was like. Okay, that was part of it. Where I was kind of like, okay, where is
Yeah,
this pulling this from? And
it's
all
not
right,
the Civil War 2. It's the
exactly.
just the Civil War. So,
Cool.
and that is it for my Marvel for the week.
All right. We could probably do some rapid fire Marvel because I read quite a bit of Marvel this week. What else did you catch anything else, Roddy? From Spider-Woman #8. You
Yeah.
do have a couple.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We could just talk quickly about Spider-Woman #8. I like this issue. This is another sleeper candidate for Click of the Week. This is, very much, shout out again to Dennis Hopeless. This is very much a surprise add to my reading list, to my pull list, my physical pull list. I really enjoy Hopeless's take on Spider-Woman and the new supporting characters that he's added. Spoiler alert if you don't know already. Spider-Woman has a little baby at home. She also has a babysitter at home in the form of Dennis Dunphy, Demolition Man. No, wait, I'm sorry. It's
Ooh,
Porcupine.
man.
I almost, because you know what's funny, because I think of him as dumb as Dennis Dunphy, but he's not. This is actually the Porcupine,
Roger,
but
yeah.
I don't remember his
It's Roger something. But
yeah, I don't remember his full name,
Yeah.
but he strikes me like the Demolition Man. So
He kind of, you say that, yeah, he kind of has the look, facial hair aside, but yeah, he kind of does favor with the red hair and all that.
So that's cause for my confusion, my temporary confusion, but the antagonist in this issue was, and by the way, the other supporting character that Hopeless has added to Spider-Woman's lineup is Ben Urich.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nice little group that's helping her out in her adventures, and we have her trying to take out someone who's probably a little bit out of her weight class in the story.
Yeah, she's tough. She had it, but actually, speaking of that, when was the last time? So, spoiler alert: it was Tiger Shark she's been fighting. If you like, the cover didn't kind of give it away anyway, but when was the last time we've seen him? Because he's apparently got some new duds, as opposed to the old gold and black whatever he used to
it's
wear.
Probably just a slight redesign.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's definitely recognizable.
Yeah. And he's definitely upgraded because apparently he was living up in Manhattan and, balling.
Right, exactly. He was in the tower, one of the tower penthouses.
Which also seemed kind of weird because like, oh, wait, I don't know if that would. I don't know. Money could buy you a whole lot of things. So I guess it's no use to think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say they kind of explained it. It kind of stinks that this is the finale to a story that started before the Spider-Woman crossover. Kind of took us a little bit out of Spider-Woman's regular story.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm betting that if we went back and read the issues right before the crossover, and maybe they dropped a couple of hints during the crossover, we'd understand why Tiger Shark is in the position he is. Because if I recall correctly, they were investigating something that led them to a big bad, and surprisingly enough, the big bad was Tiger Shark.
Right, but I just kind of took it as they were just investigating stuff as cases they come along with. I just felt that this was just a regular standard case. I didn't think about that part, so you might be right.
But yeah, again, a great issue, sleeper candidate for Click of the Week for me because I just enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun reading.
Yeah, same here. It was, you just it's one of those characters. It's like, yeah, you would think there's only so much you could do with her, but actually now she's got a little depth to it, and now she's got a baby, which I'm kind of glad they didn't say is like, we're looking up Tiger Shark to see the baby daddy or something, because that'd be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But even though that is still kind of sort of up in the air, I think.
Yeah.
About the parentage of the kid. So.
Yep. And shout out to Javier Rodriguez with more awesome, well laid out art.
Indeed.
All right. I did read Moon Knight #3. There's not much to say about this. It felt very much like, it moved the story along. But we may not see much in the way of resolution until probably the next issue. I don't know how long the first arc is. The first story.
Yeah, I don't see. And the way it's going, to me it seems like so. So what's going on here is, at the beginning of this arc, Mark was in an quote unquote an asylum, or so he thought. Apparently, it's looks like it's another dimension or something. The way that it was explained through this.
Yeah, they're sort of playing it off as, is he hallucinating or is he really on another plane of existence, having it out with one of the other Egyptian deities?
Right. Only except for they're not. Well, they are and they aren't Egyptian deities. They're pretty much from another plane, and they kind of chess pieced all of the people that they use and dress up as almost like a Stargate thing. Actually, now that I think about it, it's a mix of Stargate and They Live.
Interesting. Well, because to a certain extent, Marvel has kind of rewritten its mythologies to incorporate some of the ideas of the Thor movies, and that these characters aren't necessarily the gods of myth, but are maybe aliens who were mistaken for gods of myth or portrayed as gods of myth by ancient peoples.
Right, and it also seems the bigger picture might be seemingly getting rid of Mark's past identities, as we have seen, because it seemed like mostly everyone from his past, or versions of everyone from his past, have kind of crept into the book through hallucinations or whatnot, but they actually seem to be are real people, or at least to him, or in the scope of the story, and we see one of them get taken away.
Right.
So, and I suspect that's probably however long this arc is going to be. The rest of them may actually go that same route or a similar route. So, but we don't know. We do find that he's in his Mr. Knight form, and they're still fighting. The mummies or aliens or whatever they're trying to get away from.
Right.
In this story, so yeah, it was an interesting read. I'm curious to where this is going to go, but the end results to me seems like it was like, okay, yeah, we're going to get Mark to a place where he doesn't have this old stuff anymore and go from there, I guess.
Sure. And we've been talking about Moon Knight #3 by Jeff Lemire, Greg Smallwood, and Jordi Belair. Roddy has had Spider-Woman #8 up on his screen for a while. He's a big fan of that issue.
There we go.
There we go. See, as we all know, PCN_Dirt is usually the member of the hosting crew that takes care of displaying the issues cover that we're discussing. So.
And he would usually have them more easily laid out than I have access to. So.
Sure enough. All right. I did read A-Force #6. Just very quickly, I liked it because I liked a lot of the ways. Is it Robbie Thompson?
Yes.
That Robbie Thompson is making the characters interact.
That's Kelly Thompson.
Oh, is it Kelly Thompson?
Is it?
Yeah.
Wait.
I apologize.
Okay. Oh,
right,
wait.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull it out.
I just looked at it. Yeah.
Kelly Thompson.
Because I'm thinking of another book that Robbie Thompson is actually doing. But
right. So Kelly Thompson and Ben Caldwell is the artist on this. I like the character interactions. I don't know about the story itself, but the character interactions really make this book worthwhile.
This seems like it might be a filler arc, actually. Just kind of transitioning from what G. Wilson wrote to going into Thompson's own story. That is my assumption of this. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they will be playing more with more, out of the way stuff. So, which
I have a feeling that's what is actually going to be the focus of the book.
Kind of keep them in their own corner.
Exactly, and honestly, I think the selling point of this book is going to be the character interactions of this all-female superhero team. So, if you're if they keep telling good stories that have great character interactions between these very strong characters, then it might be worth reading. I'm sort of hemming and hawing in terms of physical pull list for this book at this point. it's sort of on the chopping block. I haven't definitely put it on there yet, but it's a candidate to go on the chopping block. So I'm enjoying the character interactions for now, but in terms of the overall story, I'm sort of I'm lukewarm. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much the best way I can describe this book, even this issue, because this particular arc is, I think, not quite done.
Mm. Yeah, while I've been slightly enjoying it for much of the reasons you've been saying, I kind of missed you a little with on this book. Um, but that said, yeah, like I said, we'll see where this goes. The things that have kind of been pulling out of this one and bringing up have just kind of been all off to the left into their own world. So and for that, it's been slightly enjoyable.
Right. Okay.
Okay, we got a Dazzler Thor,
Yeah, seriously. Seriously. All right. What do you have on your Marvel list that's left?
I think that was it for me.
Okay. I think I just have a couple more books, just rapid fire for the Marvel. Then we'll move on to the big stuff in DC that came out this week. Um, Invincible Iron Man number 13. We have undercover Tony Stark in Asia. Everyone thinks he's dead, but he's in Asia undercover, trying to get to the bottom of some high tech ninja types and a character named a character who has who seems to have telepathic or at least Terrigen-based powers over technology. So who's a techno mage. So it's a very much another chapter in the story. We do have some dramatic happenings with Mary Jane Watson. She is pictured on the cover. At this point, with spoiler alert, at this point she has not joined. What's the company called now? Stark Enterprises, Stark International, whatever it is now. Stark. She hasn't joined as an employee yet, right? In this story, we do see her as an official employee of Stark. In other books, Amazing Spider-Man 13, anybody? But in this issue, she's not yet an official staff member, and we're sort of moving towards that. She's going to play a role in probably saving Tony and Rhodey's bacon. So that's where this book is. Punisher number 2 is probably on the more disappointing side of my reads this week. PCN_Dirt and I are big fans of Nathan Edmondson's and Mitch Gerard's Punisher run from pre-Civil War, pre-Secret Wars, and to see this book kind of relaunched, one of the things that PCN_Dirt bemoans is that it's sort of a back to old school Punisher, where it's the Punisher in New York against or in the Northeast against kind of low level thugs, and it's just a lot of blood and gore and whatnot, and it's not nearly as, I guess, sophisticated is the best word I can think of at the moment, as Edmondson's story arcs, which really forced Frank Castle to really adapt and change to to numerous and varied situations. I don't know if I'm going to be reading number 3. Or at least pulling number 3 physically. I did pull the first 2 issues of this. I may give it for the first full arc to see how it finishes, but I'm not enthusiastic about pulling number 3 and seeing it in my reading pile. And my last Marvel book, you have something to say?
I was about to say, on the side note, I just finished Daredevil season 2 finally, and
okay.
That was satisfying.
Yes. Good job.
I'm not sure if I would want to see a Punisher standalone, which I know is coming, even though, he had a good turn in this.
Yeah, I was about to say, even though it's well done. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. The last book from Marvel that I'll talk about this week is Deadpool number 13. I did not buy this book physically, and I regret it, because I was kind of scared off by the gigantic price tag on this book. It's a 19 page stories by 4 different creative teams, and the price point on the book is $10. And yes, even with a discount, it would have been cheaper, but I was just not keen on spending that much money for a comic. But in reading our review copies, I was floored by how well done, well told the story is amongst all the creators, and how they meld the crossover between Deadpool, Heroes for Hire, Daredevil, and I think those are the three, but there's four parts to the story. But there's a lot of great character work in here, lots of great references. The antagonist in the story is Typhoid Mary. We haven't seen. I don't know if when we last saw her, but I best remember her as a foil for Daredevil in the 90s. Apparently she plays a role in Deadpool's history, which they draw upon as kind of the reason for the story, the background of the story. Um, it's funny. It's a long read, but it's worth it. It moves along. It's done very well. The creative teams of the respective books are the ones who, or at least the writers of the respective books that are part of this crossover are there. So David F. Walker writes the Heroes for Hire part, Power Man and Iron Fist part. Charles Soule writes the Daredevil part, and Duggan writes the Deadpool part. So it's, believe it or not, it's a very effective read. It's a crossover in one issue. It's a lot of fun. Even if you're not a Deadpool fan, if you're just a fan of some of these other characters, it still reads very well. So surprisingly enough, this is a very strong candidate for Click of the Week for me.
Like the cover.
Definitely. And I'm going to go back and track down this issue because I'd like to get a physical copy of it. Alrighty. So,
DC.
Yeah.
So
you covered a lot of the Rebirth issues here, Tim.
I did. I reviewed two of them on theclicknation.com. So you can check the Batman and Superman reviews there. And, of course, I read Green Arrow and Green Lanterns also. I'll start with Batman Rebirth #1. It's from the co-writing team of Scott Snyder, the previous Batman writer who's stepping aside for Tom King. So Snyder, Tom King, with art from Michael Janin. So a lot of these Rebirth issues, I saw some people saying that they were kind of underwhelmed by them, but almost just look at these one shots as zero issues to sort of get the reader familiar with the characters, what at least the opening story arcs are going to be, or the themes going into the relaunch #1s will be, because I'm not sure so much that Calendar Man is going to play a role, at least in the first arc of Batman, but I guess he could show up at least later on.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't familiar with the character, but I hear he's been around for a while. So, but I guess they took a different spin on his powers.
Right.
So this time around, Calendar Man, I guess he sort of ages as the seasons pass by, and he's created some device that speeds up the seasons in Gotham. So like every day a different season goes by, and it's up to Batman to find this device and destroy it. So he's recruited Duke Thompson, who's been in the We Are Robin series, and gets Duke a new costume and a new role, because he's not going to be Robin, because Batman's got plenty of Robins already. But it was nice that he just sort of already recruited Duke and put him into action as far as helping him on the radio during a mission. The art, again, from Michael Janin, who was on Grayson with Tom King, is very nice here. You get your cheesecake factor, just like we got in Grayson, of seeing Dick Grayson in shirtless scenes. We get Bruce Wayne here working out on the top of a skyscraper.
Hey, by the way, did that seem a little familiar, kind of Captain America Civil War-ish?
It just reminded me of Grayson.
No, you mean you weren't reminded of of a particular scene in Cap Civil War, the movie, given where he's working out?
Mm-mm.
If I show it to you on the printed page, you'll see. Doesn't ring a bell?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought you meant like a workout scene. I was
Oh
like, there's a
no, no,
workout
no,
scene
no,
in
just the
Civil
scene.
War?
No, no, just the scene. Well, technically, I was about to say
Oh yeah, it was kind of a workout. But
it's kind of a workout. There you go. So viewers of the YouTube feed will see what I meant, and anyone who reads Rebirth, now that I mention it, will look at that and be like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. So that's pretty much the issue. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing what King does with Batman, just because from all the interviews I've read, he seems very excited about the opportunity.
Sure. I wanted to ask a couple things. One, what did you think of the design of the unknown codenamed costume for uh, Duke?
I liked it. As someone said, isn't yellow kind of the wrong color to be wearing if you're running around at night?
Yeah, but it's dark.
Well, that and I kind of just look at it like, in comics, it's more does the costume look cool than
Mhm.
this is a stealth outfit.
Right.
The helmet area looks like I guess it reminds me of Prowler in the Spider-Man comics.
Okay.
Gave me that vibe.
Gotcha.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was okay. I did not like that it looked too much like a motorcycle suit. Like motorcycle leathers.
Right.
That was, it doesn't look like a superhero costume. It looks like motorcycle leathers, and obviously that will lend itself to cosplay. Anyone who wants to cosplay as this codenamed character is going to have a fairly easy time doing it. But it didn't strike me as a superhero costume.
Hmm.
So that's kind of my critique of it. But I mean, when I first saw it, I was kind of underwhelmed. That's really the worst thing you can say about a superhero costume design.
And let's see. Next we had Superman Rebirth #1. Out with the old, in with the new, as I said in my review.
Oh no, I think it's the other way around.
Well, yeah, out with the new, in with the
There
old.
you go.
So in my description, I called New 52 Superman, New 52 Superman, and the pre-New 52 Superman, I called OG Superman.
That's awesome.
He's the OG. So
Original gangster. Oh, that's a shout out to Ice-T.
OG Superman meets Lana Lang, and as she's trying to break into, I guess, whatever crypt that New 52 Superman's being kept in, his body's being kept in, so she can take his remains and bury him in Smallville. He has different ideas because since just as he's come back from the dead, he wants to try to revive New 52 Superman. Except he needs some Kryptonian hardware and software that's only can be found at the Fortress of Solitude, and he only problem is he doesn't know where the New 52 Fortress of Solitude is, since he's tried his best to not interfere in things and stay in the shadows. But thankfully, Lana Lang knows where it is, so they go there. They try to revive him. It doesn't work, so I guess they finally put to bed or put to rest New 52 Superman, and the issue ends. OG Superman still rocking the black and silver Superman suit. There's a nice little flashback sequence where he goes over his whole death of Superman and battling Doomsday and whatnot. Very cool scenes from Doug Mahnke. Patrick Gleason and Peter J. Tomasi are co-storytellers on this issue, so they both contributed to the writing. And again, being not really being a Superman fan, it took Greg Pak and Aaron Kuder to perk my interest into Superman. So it's kind of carrying over now into Rebirth, and I'm more interested in in OG Superman, I mean his tales, than New 52 Superman. So I'll be checking out Action Comics 90 whatever next week.
Cool.
Let's see, Green Arrow Rebirth #1. It's the Green Arrow and Black Canary show. As she shows up in Seattle, the homeless people are going missing in the city. Homeless people and children are going missing. So they investigate that. Uh, at the beginning of the issue, Oliver is rocking the beard that everyone likes, but then he takes it from a beard to a goatee. So I wasn't sure, is he known for a beard or is it a goatee he's known for?
Oi, so this version of Superman, I'm honestly not 100% sure. I think it's the
I mean, Green
beard.
Arrow.
Oh, Green Arrow. I'm sorry. I think it's the goatee actually.
Okay, so he's in the classic goatee look
Yeah.
here. There's a lot of back and forth between Green Arrow and Black Canary of, how can he fight the system when he's a part of the system as part of the rich and famous. He sees himself as a social justice warrior, which is actually referenced in the comic. Of course, he sees things differently. He wants to make a difference. They go and find this like underground group of people that are kidnapping the women and the homeless, and there's this main villain, and of course they rescue all the people, but it looks like this group and this leader are still going to be like a threat for Oliver to fight going into its #1 issue, because he has this long speech about how if it takes him till his dying day, he will put an end to this, and then it's left on like a nice little cute moment with Black Canary and Green Arrow kind of reconnecting and trying to establish a new continuity going into Rebirth. So
Okay. What did you think of the art on this?
I love the art. Glad you brought that up. Otto Schmidt, who
Okay.
did the Marvel Secret Wars Corvette Saga art. His art looks a lot better here.
I was going to say that. I didn't realize that this was the same artist from that limited series, that Secret Wars limited
You know what?
series.
Did he do that? I feel like he did the art in. I might be getting my. I think I'm getting my comics mixed up. I'm thinking about the dude who did the Inhumans, Attila and Rising.
Hmm. Well, we could look it up, but
That's John Timms.
gotcha.
Okay.
So I say, but in the meantime, what I was going to say about the art is it's quirky, but it's still very solid. It definitely has a kind of a new school vibe to it, but it definitely is a solid look for the character for the book. It gives it a unique look, so that's pretty cool. I haven't read this. I'm literally just flipping through it for the first time now, but I like I like the quirkiness of the art. It's very distinct.
Yeah. It's hard for me to explain how it is. It's kind of like has a youthful, fluid style
It's
to it.
vibrant. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
vibrant. It's definitely vibrant.
And he did the colors as well, and colors are important because a lot of this stuff takes place at night, so you have the shadows and sort of the green with his green outfit reflecting, standing out in the darkness. So, and also remember, all these issues are $2.99.
Oh yeah, makes it a lot easier to experiment and take a look.
Yeah, and then finally, it's Green Lanterns Rebirth #1, starring Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz, the two newest Green Lanterns, and they're patrolling the section of, or the Earth sector of the galaxy. And so we sort of get caught back up with Simon Baz and how he's a loner even on Earth, and how people, I guess, are prejudiced against him and being a criminal, ex-criminal, and trying to live with his sister and having their community harass them, and then his probation officer pays him a visit, and then we catch up with Jessica Cruz at post Dark Side War and how she's coping with being a new Green Lantern, and then how Jordan sort of calls them together. Or actually, he sends a, spoiler alert, a Manhunter drone to sort of test them, and they
I
fail.
kind of thought it was weird. That was
Yeah.
just like out of nowhere, but I understood why. But it seemed just kind of like a weird touch, to kind of throw at these two very, very much rookie Green Lanterns.
So they fail, and he tells them that they're the new, Guardians on Earth. He merges their power batteries together, so now they have to work together because they only have one power battery.
Right, they can only charge if they're together, and I'm like, yeah, Hal, I don't know if this is the best idea in the world. You know?
Yeah, and he's kind of like leads them to it, and then we find out that the Red Lanterns are going to be the opening villains of the story.
Right.
So
And
basically, what you're telling me that Hal's handcuffing the two new lanterns because he can't handle the competition. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes and no. He's sort of trying to teach. He's trying to teach them how to work together. That's the intent, right?
right, and then we have art from I think mostly Ed Benes. Ed Benes, I think. Hopefully that's how you say his last name. But then Ethan Van Sciver does a couple pages.
Yeah, at the end, right?
The beginning and the end.
Right, because I could tell. You could tell the style change.
Yeah. So kind of deduct points for that, just because the two they both have a house style that sort of matches, but you can definitely tell one from the other.
Right. What I was going to say about this, and I forgot to add this to my list, I just did. Having read this, I understood why they would pair these two, obviously, if they're going to have another book that is focused on Hal Jordan's story. But I kind of thought that the whole handcuffing them together and forcing them to work together thing was a little bit, obviously is going to lead towards complications for the two of them in future stories. But I thought that was just very short-sighted of Hal. Obviously, it's done this way for the story purpose, for the purpose of advancing the story and creating drama and conflict. But I thought that was a pretty bad move on his part. Like, come on, man, you haven't figured this one out yet. But other than that, I thought it was a good start for this group of Green Lanterns, and we're sort of continuing the tease of why we need so many Green Lanterns to protect Earth.
Yeah, they did have the running joke of there being like 20 Earth Green Lanterns.
Right. Mm-hmm. So they do, I guess that's also going to be part of the ramp up, or at least where these stories may be leading.
Yep.
So, question. Oh, wait, are we pretty much done with the DC Rebirth stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, how is this for jumping in on?
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah, they're all easy to just jump in on.
It's pretty good.
Superman probably being the most complicated just because it deals with pre-New 52 stuff.
Right, and there's not much to I hate to say it, even though Simon Baz has been around for a while, there's really not much to his character. So of the two new Green Lanterns that are being focused on in this book, there's not they can cover Simon Baz's story in a couple of pages. There's not much to it, so you can pick up this issue, and you have to know a little bit about Green Lanterns and a little bit about Hal Jordan, but you know that stuff, so it's not so bad picking this up.
Well, I mean, yeah, for those who just kind of come fresh and say, hey, let me see what this is about.
I was gonna say, in terms of like new reader friendliness, I think the hardest one is probably Superman. The next hardest one is probably Batman. You have to be kind of familiar with some of the stuff that was happening in New 52 for that. And then after that is probably Green Arrow and Green Lantern. I think those are probably the easiest ones to pick up on. They kind of poop all over some of the changes in relationships between Black Canary and Green Arrow. They're sort of rekindling that, but other than that, you can sort of read this with a fresh take, and look at it as a fresh take and a new start.
Got to bring the love back.
Yeah.
And just one final book from me this week was Revisionist #1 from Aftershock Comics, from friend of the show Frank Barbary and Gary Brown.
Nice.
So it deals with, I guess, time travel. It's kind of hard to explain it from a first issue. The book starts off with this guy running around in the future. Can't remember if it said not too distant future or not, but he's running around shooting people with guns. that like he says like stun and then shoots and the gun stuns people. Then he finds a guy, shoots him, and says, kill, and of course I guess kills the guy. So then we flash back to the beginning to show I guess how we got to this point, and it's this guy Martin Monroe. He's in jail. He's about to be paroled because he's I guess been given the police some information on guys in jail. They find out about it, of course, and rough up, and he actually killed the woman guard that he was supplying information to. And then he gets a package in jail from his, I guess, father, who he thinks is dead. And it's like he gets these like psychic visions that only he can see, and his father's telling him how like the next day he's gonna die, but he needs he can't die, he needs to live. Him being Martin, so he needs to put on this like bracelet that's gonna help him escape from jail. So once stuff starts hitting the fan, as far as like the woman guard being killed, he was gonna get set up for her murder and roughed up by some more guards and evil crooks. But he like escapes and gets back to his jail cell and puts the wrist device on, and it's like his dad is speaking to him through the device and helping guide him through the prison to the best ways to escape. Yada yada yada. He runs, gets revenge on some people that were setting him up, and that's pretty much it. Kind of like a sort of straightforward story. There's not too much mystery, at least initially for me in the first issue. I guess the only thing would be like how is his father talking to him from the future, is the only question I have so far. But the first Aftershock comic I've read, so there's that.
Cool.
Any other books we missed?
No, I think we're
that
good.
was tapped out for me. Yeah.
All right, so clicks of the week time.
Ooh, I've been thinking about this for a little while now because I did throw out a couple of real sleeper candidates and a strong contender. You guys go. I'm still thinking.
Here, I got mine real quick. I'm going to go with Spider-Woman Omega #1.
Very good, very
That was
good.
pretty much the strongest thing I've read this week so far.
I'm going with Civil War 2 #1.
Nice. Nice. I am torn between Spider-Woman Omega #1 and Deadpool #13. But in the interest of first impressions, I'm going to go with Spider-Woman Omega #1. As much as I enjoyed Deadpool #13, I feel like I enjoyed Spider-Woman Omega #1 that much more. Whoop, there it is.
Here we go.
Gotta love it.
You got the ad read open?
Yeah, I will take care of that. Let us do...
Oh, wait, before you do that,
what do you got?
I was about to, and shoot, I can't do it. I was going to say Dirts is probably Angry Birds Comics #6, but I can't pull the cover up.
5 will get you 10. It's going to be Superman Rebirth #1. That's just my
probably.
gut feeling on that.
That's
PC
a good
_
guess.
Dirt, when
Yeah.
when you get a chance, tweet us your click of the week this week. We'll make sure to tweet at you, see if you'll respond and confirm that. But let's take care of our first ad read of the night. Let me tell you about Skull Candy. Skull Candy makes the best headphones, earbuds, and gaming headsets, all with lifetime warranties. Skull Candy produces many types of audio accessories, including headphones, sports earbuds, Xbox gaming headsets, PlayStation gaming headsets, DJ headphones, iPod headphones, and MP3 headphones. And now, for the listeners of the Click Nation's Comic Book Chronicles, Skull Candy offers free standard shipping on your order. That's right, free 99. To help keep our podcast free, order from Skull Candy by going to cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then clicking on the Keep Our Podcasts free link. Click on the Skull Candy banner and then shop for high-quality audio accessories with free standard shipping. Skull Candy Audio through CSPN.us. Do it today.
All right, let's get to the cinematic news of the week.
And there's been quite a number of stories dropping the last couple of days.
Yeah. Let's see. A Captain America actor would like to appear in the new Spider-Man Homecoming movie, that being the star of Captain America Civil War, Chris Evans. This is interesting.
We also say he I didn't put this in the lineup, but he also reacted to the captroversy of last week. He didn't too much, but it is what it is. I don't think he cared for it too much.
No, not at all.
This is interesting. Miles Morales will be the star of Sony's animated Spider-Man film. This is a report from Heroic Hollywood, so nothing confirmed, it looks like.
We can get a live action one, that'd be great also, but hey, we'll take it.
We'll get them.
Yeah, it's going to come at some point.
Stan Lee is shooting 3 different cameos at one time.
Wow.
Yeah.
What will Stan Lee's Doctor Strange cameo look like? Will he even have one? The comic book legend isn't sure yet, but he should have a little clarity soon, when he's apparently scheduled to shoot 3 of his trademark Marvel movie cameos during the same short trip. And no one knows what they are, so there you go.
Okay.
Marvel confirms X-Men TV spin-off series in the works from the creators of FX's Fargo. So, Legion. The Legion show got, I guess, a call. Was it order set at FX?
Yes. It'll be 8 episodes, and it'll start production this summer. And it'll be on, looks like, early 2017 on FX.
The Han Solo movie begins shooting in January.
According to Lawrence Kasdan.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2's main villain revealed? ?
I'm not so sure about this. I read this, and it didn't seem to me like it was the best direction for the movie, given that there are so many characters they could pull from to create, good antagonists for the characters.
It's pretty much a deep cut if it is.
Yeah, it's a very deep cut because, when they first came when I first read it, I basically said, "Who? That's a deep cut." If I'm saying who.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I want to say one of the characters they mentioned in the article, isn't that from like OG Guardians book from the 90s? Taserface? That's not the main villain, but
I didn't read that part.
Yeah.
I didn't even read that part. So, like we were saying earlier, Tim thankfully referred to it as a deep cut. That's it's so out there that I have no idea where they're going. I'm hoping that maybe these characters will show up, but I'm hoping for a slightly more recognizable antagonist.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably lead up to Thanos, so who knows?
Right.
The Dora Milaje actress joins Wonder Woman movie as Amazon.
Move or be moved.
You know what? She's actually credited as head of security, not as Dora Milaje in the credits.
Oh, but we know.
On my fourth time watching it in IMAX, I sat and made sure to look at the credits and see what she's credited as, and I saw that she's credited as head of security.
Yeah.
So she's playing her being Kazumba, Florence Kazumba, playing a character from the comics, Senator Acantha, who debuted in Wonder Woman number 10 in 1987. And in that run from George Perez and Lynn Wein, Acantha was one of the Amazonian leaders who argued that Diana should be allowed to serve as an ambassador to the world of men. Haley Atwell, willing to do whatever it takes for more Agent Carter.
And it's not just her, too, but,
Yeah, good for her, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's got a series on ABC to worry about, so...
Yeah, but she also knows... Yeah, I was about to say, she also knows how she's really achieved a lot of the success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's all. Which that was something weird about this also because like before we found out that
You're underwater.
Agent Carter, man, oh,
Fiddle
yeah,
with the
fiddle
headphone.
the knobs. Yeah,
Yeah,
how's that? Better?
Uh,
No,
yeah,
better.
that's better.
weird. Um, yeah. So basically, she got this new thing right before we found out that Agent Carter officially wasn't coming back. So, and I think she said then, like, yeah, she would do more, but so I found it weird that she already had this in place. I'm not saying anything against her or anything, but or she kind of had this in place, before. It seemed like the writing was already there when she took this. I don't know, but that's the fact that she's willing to do more. Her and Tony Cooper and the guy who plays Jarvis, they're all saying similar things. Also, it sounds like so. Hopefully, she says she's willing to do it. Hopefully, they'll see that.
Yep.
You may need to hop off and back on again.
All right.
Ha ha. Because I know you want to be on for the next story. So the next story, we're going to hold, stay on the story while we wait for Roddy to jump back on. But I felt like this was pretty big news that came out today. There is apparently a front runner to be cast as Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, for Marvel Studios.
So it's
And
Brie Larson from Oscar-winning or Oscar-nominated actress for
Oscar
Room.
winning. She
Okay,
won
she
Best
won.
Actress, yeah,
Okay.
for Room. I mean, come on, we're coming off of Kate Blanchett. Now we got, now Marvel's got Brie Larson.
I like it. Hopefully she gets it. I'm a fan.
I haven't actually seen The Room, Room, but I heard very good things about it. I'm not so keen on her look yet, but I might be sold given enough photoshopped images.
I've only seen her in Trainwreck, where she played the sister of whatever the comedian
Amy
actress.
Schumer.
Yeah, Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
I confused her because I'm not sure if I've ever saw her in anything, but I confused her with the girl who played Bug Out Bandit on Arrow and Flash. So,
Okay.
which is probably bad, but yeah.
Joe Quesada says Marvel Studios has the rights to Namor when he's asked the question on the Fat Man Batman podcast with Kevin Smith. So if that's true, even the quotes, it made it sound like he wasn't even too sure. But
Right.
if it's true, I'm sure he'll appear in a movie. The Flash solo movie taps dope director Rick Famuyiwa.
Cool.
I need to watch Dope.
Me too.
It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Same.
Because I hear good things about it. So.
And finally, Deadpool's T.J. Miller casting Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the big news was the possible negotiations and casting of Carol Danvers and the Flash movie nailing down a director.
Yep.
Cool.
And then let's see, skip that. And comic book news. DC Universe Rebirth #1 gets Square-bound second printing. Stan Lee weighed in on the Captain America controversy from last week.
He says he thinks it's crazy, but it's a good idea.
Right.
Gotta love it, Stan.
And this was at MegaCon over the weekend. Nanjing and Perez win Reuben Awards. Ethan Young's Nanjing, The Burning City, received an award for Best Graphic Novel, and DC Comics Perez won the comic book award.
Nice.
I read a little bit of Prez. It was weird, but it seemed all right.
I heard good things about Perez, but it didn't stick around long enough for me to kind of rotate back to it. I might have preview copies still, review copies to take a look at, though.
Mm.
And IDW unveils Revolution crossover with all its Hasbro properties. just gonna set up status quo.
What? Oh.
Hey, look,
So
when the Monopoly Man shows up in Rom Space Night, you know, you heard it here first.
so we got
You know,
we
I
got
just need to see
Transformers.
Snake Eyes and Rom on the same page. Oh my god.
We got Transformers, we got G.I. Joe, we got Micronauts, we got ROM, we got Action Man, whatever that is,
Oh
and
You
we
no.
remember
got
Action Man?
Mask. I don't know what Action Man is.
Action Man, if I'm not mistaken, it was pretty much, wasn't it like an offshoot of James? Well, there was a couple of versions, but it was based on like a James Bond, but kind of tied with a G.I. Joe type event to it, something like that. I can't remember. There was a couple of cartoons about it. The one I remember was the CG version. Oddly enough, that I should have been watching it well before after my time. But
Okay.
So it's going to be co-written by Cullen Bunn and John Barber with art by Fico Asio.
See, that's a shame that Cullen Bunn is going to be on this, though. If there's a legit writer on this, they're going to try to craft a good story. But it just seems so just wrong.
Well, Bunn's writing the Micronauts new series, and Barber is writing Transformers, I think?
Yeah.
So, see what the fallout is. Maybe I'll read the crossover.
Yeah, we'll see.
Wait, is he also doing Star Trek? I can't remember. But either way, it doesn't matter. No, it's not him. Let me somebody else.
All right. Closes out with the one last ad read.
All right. So let's finish it up with a quick ad read for My Comic Shop. So today's podcast is sponsored by My Comic Shop. Go to cspn.us, then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, click on the My Comic Shop banner and order from a vast selection of new releases, back issues, vintage classics, graphic novels, and more to be delivered right to your door. Why bother schlepping to the local comic book store when you can order your books online? My Comic Shop through cspn.us. Do it today.
And we want to thank you all for tuning in to tonight's episode. We'll let everyone know coming up this month, Roddy Cat and myself will be at HeroesCon 2016.
That's awesome.
July
Muted,
17th through 19th, I believe.
That is correct.
Wow.
Or June 17th through 19th.
Yeah, I did
Wow,
that.
that's
You know what?
quick.
I did that when I first scheduled when I first put that on my schedule. I was like, wait, July? Why do I keep doing that?
Oh, and also this weekend is Awesome Con, CSPN's mastermind and creator, Classic Materia, will be there in attendance, along with friend of the show, William Bruce West. If you see them, holla at them.
Yeah.
Classic, go at him on Twitter, at CSPN Media, I believe the Twitter account name is now, and also at Classic with a K, CK at the end, Materia, no L at the end, and at William
B. West?
William Bruce West.
William B. West on Twitter, I believe.
William B. West, okay. So, and we'll be back, maybe, I wonder if I need to get one of them on the show next week to talk about their con experience.
That's a good idea.
Sure.
I make no promises.
It might still be worn out.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are the Comic Book Chronicles, and we are signing off.
Peace!
Hey.